Got to get the audio. Hey, good morning, everyone. Let me see if that's okay. Can you hear me now, Alison? Let me know, folks. I think I might have had so many microphones in my little studio here. Sometimes I forget to turn the right one on. Let me know if, yep, there we go. Thumbs up, Alison. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Yeah, sorry about Friday. A little bit of a mix-up with Andy and myself. We had the first week daylight savings blues. Hopefully you're well wherever you are. Good to see a bunch of you guys on today. And at mentoring tonight, though, folks, for those who are in the mentoring program, we've got Andy coming tonight to explain blow by blow, bit by bit, the $220,000 tax-free strategy plan when it comes to creating, structuring, and planning a tax-free future. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So make sure you get yourself along to that one tonight. Don't mess up the times. Just check out the times for mentoring tonight with daylight savings. So it's a little bit more challenging. We're sort of starting at 7 o'clock New South Wales and Victoria time, and then sort of 6 o'clock Queensland time, which is a pain in the neck. But anyway, that's the way it's rolling. Good to see. Good to see all of you guys on here. Hey, listen, today I wanted to talk about a few things, and we might just jump right into it because it's an interesting moment in time right now for all of us who own a bit of real estate. We may have gained a little bit of value in one way, shape, or form on some of our properties. Not all properties, by the way, team. Not every property rises in value. And we've been chatting to a lot of people about maybe it's time. Is it time? Could it be time to exit an old property and maybe buy a new one? But that's not today's chat or conversation. Today's chat is conversation about, as property investors, paying attention to the market, what's going on. Lots of value added to the real estate market and predominantly driven by low interest rates and undersupply and many people being out of the market. We've talked about this before, but what's that going to do for us into the future and what do we need to keep an eye on? This is pretty interesting, no? Record valuation, $1 trillion. $1 trillion, as they say in the movies. $1 trillion added in 5 months to the real estate market in Australia. And that's good news. Nothing wrong with that. What are we going to do about that? Let me talk to you guys about some of the things that are going on right now, which I think are pretty interesting, but a little bit of a sad reflection on what the media, the default position of the Australian government is when it comes to us as property investors. And before I get to that, I better say a quick hello to anyone who's new. If you're new, let us know in the chat. Give us a shout out. But good to see all of you guys on. Sean and James and Margaret and Michelle, Ben, Graham, Stephen, Alice. Who else is there? Laura, Mark, Nicole. Good to see all of you guys there. So, give us a shout out in the chat if you're new. Jason Witten's my name. If you missed it a bit earlier, good to see you guys here. But something interesting. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you on. Welcome along. One thing that's quite interesting that there's a little bit in the headlines. I always pull out a few of the... Oh, Ben, how are you, mate? Pull out of the Fin Review. It's a newspaper that I sort of look at every now and then. I try to avoid the mainstream media wherever possible and try to find good quality sources of information right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Hey, Mel, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while, or I haven't seen you in the chat for a while. Mel, good to see you, mate. But there's a conversation here about the number of investors who now qualify for what is called a sophisticated or wholesale investor, which means these investors can get access to, much better deals than the world of retail. And it's a sad state, a sad reflection, I believe, that, the default position in Australia, the default position with our government, the default position with institutions is that Australians are either victims or idiots when it comes to their own financial affairs. And I think that's a sad position to be in. I personally think it should be much more focused on right from the word go. It should be taught in schools. We should understand investing, because the way I see our economic situation is that our money should be invested in moving and creating jobs and creating wealth and abundance for everyone in this country, in the world. And it's the misunderstanding of money and how to invest it is a challenge, is the way I see it. But the upside of this is that if you have a look at this, people have gained some value. Maybe you're one of those people right now. Maybe you're in the sophisticated investor world. Maybe you now get access to some wholesale investments. And that's another thing we're going to chat about tonight at Mentoring. So, little shout out there for Andy Fenton and myself and Sam tonight. We're going to get into that for you guys. But that's a little teaser for this evening. But there's two things that are on everyone's lips at the moment. APRA attempting to raise the servicing calculations when it comes to qualifying for lending. By and large, every piece of calculation at this point, folks, points to it saying it's really a psychological play. It's not really a physical restriction in our ability to borrow right now. Okay, so if you're sitting there and you're worried at this point in time, right as today, any of those changes that are proposed with the APRA increases at this point are not going to make a huge amount of difference. Matter of fact, we talked about it the other day. I like that one, wet lettuce. Matter of fact, we talked about the other day, what it's going to lead to is rental markets tightening, okay? And so let's do a little bit of an understanding of what happens here, because right now, if you look at the property market, and when we have a look at who brings properties to market, who brings new properties into the marketplace. Now, at the moment, if you have a look at the new house land, okay, new houses, okay, we have had quite a significant increase in new houses. What is the thing right now that has made the new houses come to the marketplace? Ladies and gents, chuck it in the chat if you think you know what has created more new houses in the last 12, 18 months than there has been in a long time. We're at a peak new house production in Australia right now. And there's one thing that created that in the last 12 to 18 months. Does anyone know what it is? It's happened twice in the last 2 decades. There's been 2 of these things. Yeah, Builders Boost, Jeff is in it, Nicole's on it, new home buyer. Okay, so it was a government incentive. Okay, that was the new boost, the $25,000 thing, plus the grant, the first homeowners grant, $15,000, plus zero stamp duty, plus some LMI support, plus this, plus that, and first home buyers or new home buyers. Hey, Holly, how are you? Good to see you there. There's Ben. Good to see you there, Ben, as well. New home buyer boosts encouragement has brought a lot of properties to the market with low interest rates, have brought record new buyers into the marketplace. Perfect storm. Fabulous, fantastic, wonderful. Now, that is an anomaly when it comes to the supply, okay? So the new house has come in, and by and large, they are owner-occupiers, okay? Owner-occupier. They're not being built by investors, by and large, that major increase, not investors, okay? Now, when we have a look at the world of medium density, when we look at townhouses, let's look at townhouses or unit and apartments. Right now, what do you guys reckon about who brings those to market? Okay. How do they come to market, ladies and gents? By and large, these buildings, these properties are driven by investors being able to bring those properties to market. The challenge for any developer when it comes to increasing supply in a market that is severely undersupplied or very competitive is they must bring these things to market, okay? And when we have a look at what happens or how long it takes to bring some properties to market, then we need to understand how long this pressure in this property market will continue to roll on. So let's have a quick look at that. Chris, send me a DM direct message. We can connect, mate. See how that works for you. Thanks for the shout out. And yeah, absolutely, Alison. Subsidies raise prices. They stimulate things, and sometimes it's kind of like a fake stimulation, and then it might go back down, from a demand point of view or whatever it might be, and away we go. Nicole, overseas buyers were used to stimulate the market in the early 2000s or early 2010s, but that's been eradicated. It's not the right word. Minimised in the Australian marketplace. But how long, by and large, would it take for us as a country, as a state, as a city, to bring lots and lots of properties to market, to provide the supply, to take the sting out of this pressure right now, okay? Because the APRA thing is not going to do it. It's certainly a psychological play. They know that they can't mess with interest rates and stuff too much because it's delicate times to get the economy back going. They don't want to mess with the mojo. Hopefully you're not banned, Jeff. No, I'm not quite sure, mate. Why you can't get in there? Maybe we can circle around and I can catch up with you about where you're at with that one. But sorry, mate, if that's happening. All right, so quick question. Let's get clear, Jason. Focus. How long does it take to bring townhouses and apartments to market? Because what happens? Let's have a look at a couple of the stages, okay? The first stage is the approval stage, right? So getting something development approved. If someone takes a piece of raw land, raw dirt in any area and says, all right, I want to develop this, how long is that going to take? Okay, it's usually going to take between 6 and 18 months. Okay, 6 and 18 months. 6 months is, actually, I'm going to get rid of 6 months because that's rubbish. You might get 6 months with a house, but, it's going to take 12 to 18 months to get something approved. Now, hopefully you're following along here because we're going to do a little timeline of how long it would take and who's going to bring these things to market. Now, a developer or a builder would try to grab some land and develop it, or look to develop it into the future from a raw piece of land, unapproved in a marketplace. When you look at this right now, what is the challenge? And maybe you guys might, get this, or you might try to get your head around it. The challenge for developers and builders right now is that they are competing to buy development land in a mad market, a crazy mad market. And so if they have to pay premium prices right now, they have to pay premium prices, an inexperienced developer, a desperate developer, someone who thinks the boom's never going to end, developers. They're regular people, developers. They're not necessarily the brightest people in the room. From time to time, you get great ones who are smart, who bought properties 10 years ago that are developing them now. But if someone was entering the market right now, what would they be doing? What would they be doing as we go they would have to pay a premium on the pricing right now. All right, they would have to pay a premium to get the land. Now, if we have this thing approved, you now have to get the building financed. Okay, finance. And for finance, you have to get, let's say they get, 30 townhouses approved. Okay. Now they go, all right, well, let's get some finance together. All right. They go to the lender and the bank says, all right, well, I'll give you finance only if your feasibility is good. Got to get the FISO right. But, you have to make some pre-sales. You have to make some pre-sales, and we want to see 20 of those sold off the plan. Now, this is the long way of getting to my point, ladies and gents, okay? Yeah. You're dead right, Alison. The smaller ones aren't making much profit at all, okay? And this is the dangerous times in boom markets like this. We've seen this. This is our fourth cycle round in a crazy boom market, myself and Sam, and you see a lot of people getting involved in property deals that don't ever go anywhere because the person who bought them doesn't know how to price them, or they've underpriced and undervalued things at the beginning. They don't understand a boom market or a competitive market. Anyway, you have to do pre-sales as a developer. So who's going to buy off the plan? Do owner-occupiers, by and large, is it their default behavior to buy off the plan townhouses and apartments, right? And the answer is no, okay? The answer is no. So the challenge the government's going to face, APRA's going to face, anyone's going to face in this marketplace is if they take the sting out of the new construction world, it's only going to make the undersupply worse. Yeah, dead right, Holly. It's only going to make the undersupply worse, okay? So we're going to see more pressure, and thus when they open up the borders, it's already talking right now, they're already talking about they've got plans to bring the students back for 2022, international travel, whatever it looks like, whatever that is, it's not going to take less pressure out of the markets. It's going to bring more pressure into the market. So, and then, you need to get these things sold. And then that's the first part. We're not even talking about the construction. We're not even talking about the delivery and the settlement, okay, as well. So they need investors over here. And the smart investors connect and network with the best developers and builders to bring great buildings to market in times where, the rest of them don't. So, hopefully that makes sense. It was a bit of a sort of a roundabout way today, talking about this stuff, saying, hey, listen, a lot of people have got some coin. Prices have gone up, not for everyone. And don't get disheartened if your property hasn't gone up. I've got a bunch of properties that haven't gone up much in value at all this boom, okay? It's just not their time. Don't stress about that stuff. That's normal. Some do, some don't. And that's just the way things roll, right? A lot of people in the sophisticated space, and what's on everyone's lips is this APRA thing. Well, it's not going to slow things down, team, folks. It's not going to slow things down. Good question, Nicole. Said, how do you know who's a good developer? We had a little chat about this the other day, Nicole, about, render to reality and past project experiences. And it's really important to look into developers' last projects and past projects and buildings that are, 3, 5, 8, 10 years old, and have a look at how those buildings stack up and stand up in the marketplace. If you want a really good developer and a really good building, you have to understand the pedigree of the developer and builder. And Sam talks about this concept of brand developers compared to no-name developers, okay? And I might give that as a topic for one of my Wealth Coffee chats this week, actually, Nicole. Good question. Thanks for letting us know about maybe a subject for me to chat about. And bit of a shout out right there. If you do have any questions or you want me to do a little Wealth Coffee chat, let me know in the chat. I'll chase that up. So there you go. Hey, Laura put a little post in there. Thanks, Laura. And it's great to see. It's great to see your clients and our clients together enjoying the coaching. And there you go, on the third property, joining the 1% Club. Shalini, if that's how you say it. Shalini joining the 1% Club as we go. 1% of Australians own 3 or more investment properties. Anyway, team, that's it from me this fine Monday, marvellous Monday. Anyone who's in mentoring, make sure you join me tonight. We've got an action-packed evening, so let's crack on with that one and make the most of it. That's it from me, team. You guys stay well wherever you are. Stay out of trouble. Stay well, stay safe until we see you guys potentially tonight. You guys take care and bye for now.